Hey guys, it's me, Will. Welcome back to another amazing Venator update. Before we get started though, let me thank Bruno. Thank you very much on Instagram, and he's just great. He became a Patreon to help fund the Venator this week, so thank you very much, Bruno. Thank you, good sir. I really do appreciate every donation we do get here. Goes to this massive project, and it is getting really expensive, so anything that is contributed really does help. But without further ado, let's get into week 13 of this series, because we did a lot this week. It's actually a really long update, as you can probably see by the timestamp. It's like a 16-minute update, so let's get in this update without further ado. Starting off this week on the Venator, we have had some amazing progress. We've gotten over $100 in new parts from Tyler Lifebrick Studios for this MOC, and it's awesome. It is truly coming to form, and I'm really happy with it. There's a lot of damage to it because it's just I didn't put some things together right. Like for example, this thing fell off again because, well, I just didn't really secure properly with the right parts, because I still am like practicing a lot of techniques that I'm going to be using on the Venator, like this thing over here. Okay, so basically this is going downwards. I didn't know, like whenever you have where's the thing here. Okay, so whenever this is going like this is actually going downwards, which I didn't think about too much in the design progress of the ship. So that is something I have been thinking about recently, is that I will actually need less of these bricks, which is amazing because I've spent way too much money on these. So that's good. It will help to conserve these bricks because I have not too many left of these, be honest, and I hope I don't have to buy any more of these bricks because I've bought so many of them. But then I just keep adding them in places like right here. I keep adding more supports like right here, as you saw last week in the update, and just tons of things. So this week though, what we're going to get into is amazing. Making the bridge completely out of snot bricks. So for those who don't know what snot means, it's basically studs not on top, as the Lego masters like to say. Yeah, I love how they include that. I mean, it was really cool how they did that in the Lego Masters show a while back, just to help people who don't know what snot means actually explain it, and they did a way better job than I could ever explain it to someone. So this week, I'm going to be working on making a whole snot panel thing going all the way to the back of the Venator to accommodate this ship right here. Now you see I have a little gap right here. Well, it's actually start going up right here. This should be a straight line going upwards like that, and then it's going to be like right here, and it's going to be really tall, and then it's just going to look great. But I did order a whole ton of these. I ordered actually 67 of these 1x6 bricks from Tyler's. I would have liked to order more from him, but sadly he didn't have any more of them. So I just bought everything that he had, and then a bunch of 1x4s, which he had a lot of. So we have a ton of 1x4s, 1x6s, a few 1x3s because I didn't buy too many of those from him, and a few 1x2s and 1x1 gray bricks to make this work out perfectly. I actually do not find a 1x3 gray brick right there to fill that in, but that's what we're mainly working on this week. So let's get into it. Alright, so our first problem of the week seems to have occurred already. So I'm not 100% sure if that technic beam right there is centered with the Venator. Like, I don't know if it's matching up with this black bar, because this is exactly the middle point of the Venator, and I'm not 100% sure if that bar right there is lined up, which is making this thing not be lined up, and that's a problem. You see how I have to deal with this inward space right here, because, you know, this technic beam does get in the way. It'll all work out in the end because we're going to start going up, and it's going to already be at this point by then. But I do need to work around this thing right here, and potentially a second one, which we probably will have a second one down here. I don't know how that's going to work exactly quite yet, but I do have some ideas. So that's something we're going to have to worry about later. But right now we got to make sure that this is centered. So I have to take off this panel again. Hopefully it doesn't break. Please don't break, because it's not that secure. Well, it's secure to the Venator, but like it's not a super strong panel since this is really a rough prototype. So we're going to take this off right now, and we're going to see if this thing right here is really centered. So let's get into it. Right, so this is how I determine whether it is centered or not. So basically we have this midsection because the door is exactly centered with the ship. So I put down some technic beams. These are going to be taken up obviously, but I just pushing it down all the way down there and seeing if it lines up with this. So now we actually have to get something like this, which is this tall thing right here, and place it right here to see if it is centered with the Venator. And it does look somewhat to be centered. Hold on, let me actually put some more bricks so we are exactly sure that this thing is exactly perfectly centered, because if it isn't, then we actually have to move it, which isn't too bad, obviously, of like work, but we have to make sure that this is centered. So I believe it's centered, but I'm going to turn off the camera for a second just to make 100% sure. I knew it wasn't 100% centered, which is kind of odd. So let me explain why it's not 100% centered. So right here, we actually have this thing and this thing. And you see how they kind of don't really line up? Like there's a small gap between it. Like if you were to put a brick there, they wouldn't exactly line up. Well, that's because this and this, which I explained in my last video, are actually supporting the sides through an upward motion I like to call thrust, which is giving support to this side and to this side. But unlike the section where this weight is actually being pushed up, over here, there is nothing to push this section up. So basically, it relies on the support from right here alone to support it. But since these are two sagging sides, well, they aren't really sagging, but since these two are kind of somewhat like different in the ways of sagginess and stuff like that, basically this is not matching to the proper height it should be without causing stress on both of those sides. It's really complicated to explain, but basically I think I just have to move this inward one or this one inward one until it works out. So I'm going to get into that now. Just like that, it is now 100% centered for the ship, and it's looking good. So now we can work on the next part, which is putting the panels back on and all that junk. Good news, we got it back on. So can someone do drum roll? Yay. But there's also bad news. So basically, here, let me take this off to show you guys. You see how I have this panel plate attached onto it? It's not completely centered with that side compared to this side right here. It really isn't. And I can't center it with the way I have my snot technique going. You see how I have this, and this, those three things? It's causing complications. So we're going to have to kind of maybe redesign this, and this, which is going to take a long time. So I'm going to actually start redesigning it because I have to have both of these sides equal, with this plate on the bottom of it also being equal, so that it's centered on the Venator, because this whole thing right here controls like where it will go on the Venator. So I actually have to fix that right now, so I'm going to start doing that. Right, I have noticed something astonishing. So basically I did in this kind of formation, I have one of those connector bricks right here, and then another one right here and at the very end. But look at this, there's a small crack. I mean, it looks good, but there's a small crack, which means there is some hesitancy in there, and I've pressed down on the bricks as hard as I could, but there is some small hesitance, if you can see what I mean. But when I get rid of the connector brick, like I'll show you right now, by connector brick I mean this. So when I replace it with this one right here, which is no connectors or anything, let's just put that on there like so. We're going to attach those. Then when I get rid of it, the gap is still there, but it's not pushing inwards against the bricks. It's just gone, which I don't really get too well. I don't know how that can just happen, but it does. So that is a bit odd. But I mean, at least it's centered now. So I could leave it like this, but that wouldn't really be strong for this at all. So I'm going to try and figure out a different solution to this I thought of. So basically, it's going to be facing like this. There's going to be one of these on the bottom, connecting to the plate, and then every two, there'll be one facing on this side and then this side. So now I'm going to put that in there and see if it works. After a lot of thinking about this, we have a solution. So in the middle, right here, we have one of these bricks, as you guys can see. This brick right here goes on this side and on this side, and then on the bottom as well, which connects it to this amazing thing right here, these plates. Now, hold on, that just popped off. Oh no, it's falling apart. Sorry about that, folks, but I mean, it's fixed now. But like, wow, it's pretty cool. So this is actually one stud wider than it was before, but it connects all of them super well. So let me show you how it actually connects by taking off this panel right here. So now with this panel, you can actually see the bottom part of all of them connecting. It really is amazing. I have both of them going out the same direction, because that way I can just do flat tile like that on the sides, which is great. I do not want to have to order a bunch of these pieces. Yeah, that piece honestly would just be the worst, but it actually is 17 studs wide with 2 of those flat things on each side, which is great. And then we got some stud connectors for the front when we eventually add some more stuff to the front of this for this section of the Venator. But sadly, it is not even. So that's why I add these pieces right here to make it even, so that when I plop it on here, it fits perfectly and it matches evenly and everything's just great. So yeah, I'm really happy with all the progress that we've made so far in this. Now, I don't know what I'm going to do next. Do I continue going more this way, or do I start going the upward frame? Because I did start doing that with this thing right here. I'm thinking about making it in this kind of design, which is somewhat cool, but also somewhat a bit odd, because I have a few other designs that I tried out for that didn't work so well. Alright, so here is the other solution that I tried. It was this thing right here. This thing wasn't really something that was working out for the mill, because if I wanted... I just dropped it on the floor. But as I was saying, if I really wanted to have it like this, then I would need to add some sort of connection, which would look like this, and that wouldn't be so great. Although it does make this section inside here a bit more condensed, I think I picked the best option here and just went with this thing right here. So that's something that's going to be great, and we're going to have going up all the way on the Venator. It's going to be so cool to see. But I think the next part I really want to work on, now that I've kind of like prototyped how I'm going to make this thing, is honestly just finishing this all the way to the back. I mean, I feel like that would be the best thing to do, so I can get the perfect measurements for this. So that's how I'm going to use the rest of my bricks I have with 1x6s, 1x4s. I think I have enough to at least get it done to the back. I'm not sure about the bridge though. I don't think I'm going to have enough to completely finish the bridge, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Anyways, let's get into building the rest of this flat section. Holy crap, guys. So much progress. Oh my goodness, let me get into it right now. Right now, I am quite literally losing my mind. Holy cow, this thing is amazing. There's so much progress made to it, so many amazing things just done to it. I am super hyped until we ran into this problem. You can see this fits perfectly. Well, at least it looks like it fits perfectly. This is actually extended one more stud out each side instead of right here where they're a lot closer together, a lot more stronger. This is one stud out. So I thought this section will be able to fit, right? And it looks like it does. And as a matter of fact, it does. Look at that, it fits, it fits. But then the stupid gun turrets. No, these gun turrets do not fit. And that's my problem. So now I have to figure out a new solution to it. But honestly, this is so amazing. The amount of progress we've made is absolutely insane. I built another one of these trusts since the last time we were actually talked, and just tons of amazing things have happened, such as this thing right here. This is gonna be the new angle. It's gonna be super pog. It's honestly, it's gonna be great. I'm super excited for that. And by the way, this isn't even attached to anything. It's just legit held together by the friction of the bricks. So yeah, but we'll just leave that right there. But so much progress, and also Ahsoka looking pretty good over there. But like, oh, I'm so in love with this project right now. I'm super excited for next week's update. But the first thing we want to fix right now is this, and then we'll probably end out the update. But like, this is the last thing I think we're going to do this week. It's just making sure that this figure can fit. I basically got rid of all the progress I just got done. There's the top panel. We still have that intact, but I've destroyed all the pillars. Now, I need to do this because it just wasn't working out with the way the frigate was fitting. It just was not working, and I didn't see any other solution. So this is my new solution. I'm going to be basically redoing it. I have these new slopes right here and these slopes right here. They're different slopes, and hopefully it just all works. I really have no reason to actually do this, but like, it's just different in the ways of slopes. So let's just see how this works out, because believe it or not, this piece is different from this piece in the ways of like sizes. And basically this piece is at the top now, and these pieces are at the bottom. I think it'll work, but I'm not 100% sure. So hopefully it does, because otherwise I just wasted all this time. So let's get into it. Bad news, people. It got worse, actually. What I did made it worse, so now we're just gonna revert it back to normal. And I do know of one thing I could have done differently if I had it originally the way it was. So now we're just going to basically put everything back the way it was. I have spent too much time in this, and I'm just done, so I'm putting it back. But at least these are equal to each other. I don't know if I'm going to put it back. I'm going to figure this out. Yeah, I'll be back, guys. So basically, I gave up, guys. And you know what I did? I moved the blasters inwards on the ship. Yeah, that's right. I made a ship modification, sue me. But honestly, I'm so done with this. I think that's probably the best choice. I spent hours, days on this, honestly, trying to figure out how to make this work. But I think this overall is the best solution. But I mean, this is looking great, guys. I'm overly satisfied with how this looks. It looks dope. There's some amazing shots right there. Like, I mean, it just is so cool. to see this in action. Here, we don't even need this thing right here. But it's just so dope. I love this thing so much. And then you got the turbo tank right next to it. Like, I think this turbo tank would be theoretically to scale with the Republic frigate. But like, dude, like, oh, I'm in love with this. I think it looks great. Now, you guys may be asking how it's going to enter. Well, it's actually going to enter through the back. There's going to be a way that can detach it, the engine somehow. I don't know how this is going to work exactly, but it's going to be really cool. So, yeah. I really don't know how to put this, but there's going to be something right here that you can detach to put the frigate in here. Now, this thing can go inward a bit more, but I didn't put it in there more. And it'll be easy to slide out once I put the panels down. I mean, it's really hard to slide out right now because these keep attaching to the things, and then they go into these pits right here that are meant for elevator lifts. Yeah, it's complicated, but yeah, that's about it, guys. Alright, that's all for this week, guys. Thank you very much for watching this week's update. I really feel like we made some good progress. You know, it really feels good, the amount of progress we made. I do have some plans for next week, consisting of some more panel work that I want to work on. But yeah, that's about it for this week, guys. I hope to see you all in the next one. Peace out. And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe down below. It really does help a lot. But that's it for now, guys. Peace out.